Welcome back to Project Handlebar. Today we're going to make a bit of a mess with messy macro photography. All right, I got a little 5-gallon fish tank filled about halfway with water here, black background, and in order to get enough light, because I'm going to be shooting at about 1/1000th of a second to capture the motion, I picked up these little shop lights. LED shop lights at the hardware store for about 20 bucks a piece. Got one underneath the fish tank as well, which is why I have it propped up. And even then, it wasn't quite enough light, so I've got these little LED panels just to push the light a little bit further than I normally would be able to with continuous lighting. I've been wanting to play with these macro extension tubes for quite a while now, and I'm finally getting a chance to do it while stuck here bored in quarantine. So, what macro extension tubes allow you to do is allow the camera to get a little bit closer and keep a subject in focus than the lens would normally allow. I'm pushing the camera all the way to f8 just to get as much in focus as I can. It's really difficult to balance with this continuous lighting instead of having a strobe or sunlight, and to keep it at that 1/1000th of a second. So I've got the camera at ISO 800, f8, and even then I'm only going to get about a centimeter of what's going to be in sharp focus. What I used was a coat hanger that I slipped down into the water that I could see on the screen, and just until I could figure out where it would be in focus, and it's right about in the center of the tank. So that tells me what my focus point is going to be, and that's where I'm going to attempt to dump most of the liquids that I'm going to be shoving in here. Alright, so I've got quite a few things that we can dump into this water. Even some really cheap, nasty syrup. Dawn dishwashing liquid. I got a bath bomb. See how that does. Some WD-40 spray paint. Some polish. Food coloring. Hand lotion, detergent. Even some pennies. I just want to see what they're going to... Ooh, and a fingernail polish. Don't tell me why. And we'll see what it looks like when I dump them in. Alright, so we're going to put this camera on a really fast continuous shutter. What we also have to do is hold the button down, and it takes a bunch of shots all at once. What should we start off with? Something I know is not going to mix with the water really well. I'll some hand lotion. All right. Fun. Some glass cooktop cleaner and polish. Blue nail polish. It's gonna come out. I don't even know it's gonna come out. Blue nail polish is a bust. Red nail polish. It's just gonna right on top of the water. Pancake syrup. WD-40. Spray paint. It's not working. Spray paint. Oh, come on, I'm really disappointed spray paint's not working. And so, dish soap. A little bit of lime detergent. Pull the cup first. So far, this is an incredible mess. I'm going to dump some change in there just to see what it looks like. Okay, this is the one I've been waiting for. This is the bath bomb. Hopefully it works. I think it's supposed to effervesce or something like that. It's doing a little something. It's definitely falling apart. It looks really cool. And now it's gotten all cloudy. Now we're going to have a little bit of fun with the food colors. I know this is going to mix with the water and change the water to different colors, so I kind of wanted to save it for last. Alright, so I have definitely made a mess in this thing. I think I owe somebody a new fish tank. Yeah, this wasn't mine either. But look at those colors going in there. That looks really cool. Oh, that's hilarious. I wonder if I can mix it up just a little bit more. Let me put you back here. Alright, so let's go through some of these images. Some of them turned out really, really cool. Some of them really, really didn't. But I did learn a lot from the process. It was a fun project, so all in all, I couldn't call it a failure. This is a photo of the hand soap. I got two halfway decent in-focus images of this, but this was by far not my favorite. This was the glass polish, the glass stovetop polish. Gave some really cool designs. The red nail polish was an absolute bust. It mostly stayed on the surface, like I said. I did get a couple red blobs, but that's just about it. The pancake syrup was one of my favorites. I don't know if it was my favorite, but it is definitely second if it's not my favorite. The WD-40 was kind of cool. You can see how it pushed down some of the red nail polish there. I played around with the colors a bit. The spray paint did almost absolutely nothing except create this weird looking cloud at the top of the screen. The hand soap looks kind of cool. There was almost no color anyways, so I just made it black and white. It did some pretty cool stuff. Now the dish soap is probably my favorite. Did some really weird abstract things. The laundry detergent, not quite as exciting. It does, however, look like I'm deep sea diving. Unfortunately, the change was not in focus. Those could have been some really cool images. I think what I learned is that next time I need to somehow point out the exact spot where I need to drop everything so it'll be in focus. The bath bomb unfortunately wasn't in focus when I dropped it in. And then later when it was in focus, as it was effervescing, it did not look as cool in camera as it did in person. Unfortunately, it was such a clouded mess that when I went to go put in the food coloring, there was no way it was going to be in focus. I think the food coloring would be really cool looking if it were in focus, as it was pushed into the water. So I may have to do that as its own standalone project sometime. As I added more food coloring, it just kept getting darker and darker and darker until really there was nothing left to see. It was, however, a really fun project, and I will totally do it again. Well, there we go. Messy macro photography. You can do this with a mobile phone. A lot of mobile phones have the fast shutter speed. Just look in your settings, look under shutter speeds or shooting modes or something like that, depending on what kind of camera phone you have. But a lot of them just allow you to hold down the shutter button, and as long as you're holding down the shutter button, it takes continuous shots. You shouldn't have any problems with focus because the lens on a camera phone is made for some pretty extreme circumstances, including close up. So yeah, have fun. I can't wait to see what you guys do with this. Play around, do your own thing. Doesn't have to be a fish tank, doesn't have to be water, doesn't have to be junk, it doesn't have to have anything to do with water. Just make a mess and do it macro. I almost forgot to tell you, those macro extension tubes, you can find those anywhere from $20 to $150 depending on your budget. That will fit just about any major model camera. They're really fun and easy to use. Like I said, you can also use your camera phone as well. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. It helps other people see it as well. And if you want to see more, subscribe. I'd love to have you part of this channel. Don't forget to visit our Facebook group. If you do your own project, then make sure you post it there so we can see your work and talk about it. Feel free to go over to Instagram as well. If you post it on Instagram, hashtag Project Handlebar, and make sure you tag the Project Handlebar Instagram page. I can't wait to see you guys again. Stay creative, my friends.